So let's start by finding our comfortable seat. And I'm just going to ask you to pause for a moment and reverse the way that you would usually cross your legs. And it's okay if you have to think about that for a second. And then prop yourself up however you see fit. So since we are talking about our spine today, we should also talk a little bit about the proper way to sit in easy pose. So the proper way to sit is any way that will help you lengthen your spine. So for me, what that means, because I have pain in my lower back a lot of the time, I'm sure most of you do too, when I go to cross my legs, I give myself a little extra height under my seat, and then I allow myself to kind of tilt the pelvis forward and really lengthen up through the spine, lifting through the crown of my head. For you, you might not be able to cross your legs. You might need a little bit more height. You can take a block and turn it. You can fold your blanket up even more. You can get yourself even like a folding chair or a little stool to sit on so that your feet can be firm on the ground. So let's find that comfortable seat together. We'll close our eyes. And just take a moment to really draw all of your attention and awareness into your spine and scan from your tailbone all the way up to the space where your spine meets your base of your neck. Right? So this spot called the occipital ridge, this little lump where your head and your neck meet. And I'll first just ask you to find any spots that feel like tension, any spots that feel painful, and this may be easier if you close your eyes. Notice spaces where we can find a little more length. So where can you grow just a little bit taller? And then just maybe drop your shoulders down. Nice long neck. Relax your jaw. When I think about lengthening my spine, a helpful visual that I use is a string connected to the crown of your head and kind of gently pulling directly upward. And then as you begin to breathe, first we just start with our normal deep, slow breaths. Maybe you match the length of your inhales and your exhales. And then I want you to kind of think about breathing into your back body. So notice if you can expand your lungs and expand this back portion of your ribs. Try that for a couple of deep breaths. And we'll kind of revisit that in a different posture to see how that changes, where it's easier to breathe into that back portion of your spine. I'm going to ask you to take your hands to cup this like middle part of your ribs. I'm just going to drop your shoulders down. And then I'm going to see if I can breathe into the palms of my hands. So now you're expanding outward. Notice how that feels different. And then slowly release the hands. And come back to your normal deep breath. But notice any shifts, any changes in the spine just from changing our breath around a little bit. So let's bring the hands together at heart center to open the practice. Opening with the sound of Om, and you can join at home or you can simply listen in. The sound of Om unifying, clearing the space, inhaling deeply. If you haven't done so already, let's let the eyes softly float open. I'm going to roll over onto our backs. So we won't really need any support here. Just going to let ourselves come flat to the earth and bring the soles of your feet down to the ground and just kind of lift your butt and tuck your tailbone under. And see if you can really place your lower back flat on the earth. So you can keep the knees bent here for a moment. We're going to reach the arms up overhead and find some stretch in the upper body. So lengthening, reaching the fingers as high as they can go, and then doing the same thing with the toes. So you're going to reach down towards the end of your mat with your toes and just find some length in your spine. So this is a really great stretch for first thing in the morning, or if you are like me and you've been working at a computer all day. Now from here, keep the length in your spine. You're going to arch the fingertips to the right side, arch the feet to the right side. So your lower back, your middle back, your upper back are still on the ground. Hips and shoulders are down. We're just stretching and arching. If you want to intensify here, you cross your left leg over your right, and you bring your left wrist into your right fingers. Good, so feeling this kind of arcing over, opening up into the left side ribs. And then let's come on back to center, hinging. Release the cross in your legs, release the hands. Stretch it out again, fingers to toes, and then arc to the left side. So now you're going to reverse it. If you want to go deeper, your right ankle crosses over your left. Your right wrist goes into your left fingers. A big arc up and over. Shoulders and hips are down, head is relaxed. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Really feel the expansion into that right side. And then let's come on back to center, gentle hinge. Uncross the ankles, release the hands, reach as far as you can. Take a really deep breath in. And as you exhale, relax the feet and slowly draw the hands down alongside you. Palms facing up towards the ceiling. And take a moment. Good, let's bring the knees in towards the chest. And wrap the arms around. And just give yourself a little side-to-side movement. Kind of rinse out your lower back a little bit. Good, let's take the hands to cup the kneecaps and make small circles. So it doesn't matter which direction you go in first. What we're trying to find here and connect to is our sacrum. So it's that flat, bony part of your low back. So here, we're feeling into these edges of that sacrum. Pause and reverse your circles. Nice. Come on back to center. Release the soles of your feet down to the ground. Make sure that your heels are in close enough that you can graze them with your fingertips. And your feet are hips distance. So if you need to measure there, that's 2 fists between your feet. Plant the hands, widen across your collarbones. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, press into your feet. Lift your seat for bridge pose. So keep some real length in your neck here. Making sure we're not crunching our chin towards our chest. And notice how far up into the space between your shoulders you can get this arc of your spine. Keep your head still. Take a deep breath in. Lower it down, slow motion. One deep breath. So making your way up to your comfortable seat, I'm going to do it with a little bit of extra movement into my spine. So I'm going to draw my knees in, take the hands behind, and gently rock a couple of times. Maybe like 2 or 3. To come up to your comfortable seat again. Nice. So let's take the hands out and up. We'll interlace the fingers and flip the palms towards the sky. Feel that opening through your spine and maybe a little side to side movement. So nice little windshield wiper action here. And your head might flow along with it side to side. Nice, let's come to center. Interlace, really press the palms to the sky. Twist your upper body to the right. So hold here for a moment. Feel this twist. Feel the reaching up through the hands. And then gently release the hands down. So your right hand's coming behind you. Left hand comes across to your thigh. Or maybe just in front of your feet. Nice. Deep breaths. So make sure we're not leaning backwards too much. We're moving the heart forward. And then let's do the same thing with the other side. So interlace your fingers again. Flip the palms towards the sky. Feel that length. With all that length, we turn now to the left side and hold there. Feel the twist. And then gently release. So left hand is down behind now. Good, let's take one more breath on this side. And then last time you're going to interlace, press your palms to the sky, find the most length that you can. Gently, softly make your way to your hands and your knees. So, making your way into a tabletop shape, hands are a little further away now if you have some lower back pain. So if you feel okay, hands and shoulders might be in line. If you don't feel great with your spine, hands are a little further ahead. We'll find cat and cow. So finding first that really strong tabletop, lifting up a bit through the center of your hands. As you inhale, drop your belly down, lift your tailbone. Lift through the crown of your head, lift your chest. Hold here for a moment, find cow pose. Pressing the earth away with your hands. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone, hug your belly in, move the chest in, chin down to the chest, press the space between your shoulder blades. We're going to do 2 more of that slow. So hold here, nice deep breath in. Exhale. Good, inhale, slowly moving back to cow pose, starting with the tailbone. Lift the tailbone, lift the tips of the shoulders, lift the head. Hold steady. Inhale. Exhale, find cat pose. Again, starting with the tailbone. Good, deep breath. Exhale. Inhale, slow roll. Cow pose. Slow roll. Cat pose. Good. Come on back to center. Finding a neutral tailbone now. So imagine that you have a paintbrush balance on your low back here, and we're going to try to make some circles on a canvas behind us. So really stirring up in the hips and the sacrum. So you might experience what I am experiencing right now, which is like some snap, crackle, pops in my hips. And that's perfectly fine as long as there's no sharp pain. So pause and reverse the circles. Notice if one direction is a little more snap, crackle, pop than the other. Good, really isolating that movement. Your shoulders really aren't moving at all. And then let's come on back to center, neutral spine. Let's kick the right toes back. Get steady here. Lift the toes in line with your spine. So press through that right heel and find the length in your lower back. Good, engaging through that right glute, hugging your belly in, tucking your tailbone under. Let's take those toes over to the left side, bring the toes down, and the gaze across. Good, come back to center, bring the knee back in line. Left toes go back and down. Get steady and then lift. Heel comes in line with spine again. So especially if you're like me and your tendency here, as I caught myself right away, is to really drop your belly down and arch your spine. Tuck your tailbone, hug your belly in, and then press back through that heel. Good, let's take the toes over to the right, the gaze towards the toes. Good, knee comes back to center. Let's flatten out our feet. We'll move the knees just a touch wider to sit back to our child's pose. Reaching the fingertips forward. Relaxing head, neck, and chest. I'm going to keep my head lifted so that you can hear me. You're going to relax your head towards the earth. Let's walk your fingertips all the way to the right side. Reach them as far as they can go while you're still pressing back through your seat. So try not to lose that connection. If you want even more space, you can cross your left hand over your right. And then let's walk it all the way over to the opposite side, left side of your mat. So same thing, don't lose that connection. Your heels and your butt keep moving towards each other. You might cross your right hand over your left. Nice, come on back to center. So relax completely for a moment into your child's pose. And now I want you to try that breath practice again. So close your eyes. Draw your awareness now into your spine and particularly this back portion of your ribs, and try to breathe into that space. Good, really pressing up that space, maybe between your shoulder blades, maybe the space right between your heart or right behind your heart. And maybe the lower ribs. Now I'm going to ask you to slowly rise up to your first downward facing dog. Not too much exertion in this practice, but we will find a little down dog. And maybe pedal out your legs if you need it. Nice, and we're going to try a little bit of maneuvering into our plank pose. So we're going to do this nice and slow. Even if you know how to get into plank from your downward dog, I want you to follow along with me. And notice how this is way harder than just rocking forward. So you're going to come up onto the balls of your feet and imagine that there's a barrier here between your hands and your feet. You're trying to go up and over it. So up to the balls of your feet and then rolling forward. Good, that barrier is still there, so now we need to roll over it. So let's try that again. Up to the balls of the feet, roll over the barrier. And roll back. We're going to do it one more time. Roll over. Roll back. And now we're going to roll forward again. Come down to the knees. Take a breath. So now from here, finding your cat pose. So pressing into your hands, pressing into your knees a bit to arch the spine, tucking the tailbone. And we're going to try to move right from here into Cobra Pose. So nice and easy. You're going to rock forward a bit. Maybe press your knees back a little bit more. And slowly drop your pelvis down. Nice. Hug the elbows in. And then take a moment to rest. So whatever rest looks like for you, I'm going to prop myself up on my elbows for a minute so that I can explain a little better. You might have your head down on the ground, one ear kind of placed down. So going through our Cobra Pose with a little bit more of a fine-tooth comb, because this is a tough one to master. So following along with me, your hands are about in line with your heart center. Hug your elbows in. I've had a student say that they're at nipple height. Your hands are at nipple height. It's a good way to remember it. So keeping your upper body low, we're going to lift the toes and press them back. So watch that movement, right? So I'm going to lift my right toes, physically move my right hip back a little bit, and then do the same thing with the left. Lift the toes, press it back. Toes are really important here. Tops of your feet are pressing down hard. If you don't move anywhere at all, this is where I want you to start. Tops of feet press down. Elbows are in. Shoulders are back. And then we start to lift. Nice. So there might be very little weight in your hands eventually. Keep pressing the tops of your feet down hard. Your knees might even lift off the ground. And then notice your neck. So the tendency here is to be so focused on our lower back, on our feet, that we kind of crunch our neck and look all the way up. Find some length in your neck. Imagine that there's like an orange or maybe like a tennis ball here behind your head, and we don't want to squish it. Good, now let's separate the feet a little wider. Press into your hands. Go up and back into your child's pose. Nice, hold steady here, a couple of deep breaths. And you might try again, breathing into your back body. Good, one more deep breath. Good. We're going to go back to our downward facing dog, just for a breath. And walk our feet forward towards the top of the mat. Finding a forward fold. So bend your knees here as much as you need. Melt your ribs into your thighs. Give your head a nice little shake. Yes. No. Good. Let's take the hands to interlace behind that occipital ridge. So again, that's the space where your head and your neck meet. There's like a little lump there. And this is just gentle pressure, right? My elbows are just kind of heavy. I'm not yanking my head towards the mat, towards my feet. Now soften your knees a bit. And I want you to start this movement at your lower back, right at the sacrum, at the tailbone. We're going to rise up with the head coming up last. So begin to arch through that low part of your spine. Begin to arch into that middle part of your spine. And then start to rise through the shoulders, through the crown of your head, and then press your head into your hands. Open through the chest, thinking your cow pose. Good, take a really deep breath in and out. Slowly tilt your head back to center and release the hands. Take a breath. Good, now from here, let's reach all the way up through the hands. Arc through the spine, lift the chest. Exhale, gently fold forward. Bend the knees as deep as you need. Inhale, come up to the hands to the shins and look forward. Find your half lift. Really lengthen through your spine, tuck your tailbone under, hug your belly in. And then exhale, slide all the way back down. 2 more like that, hands to shins. Press into your hands to look forward. And release. Last one, looking all the way forward. Press your hands into your shins. And release. Nice. Let's step our left foot back. And we're going to make this box shape with our knees. So you're bringing your back knee down and lifting up through the torso. So just check in, you've got your front knee over your ankle, your back hip is over your knee. Your right fingertips will reach forward as your left hand reaches back. So finding like a kneeling warrior 2. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, reach forward, bring your right hand to the inside of your foot. So remember, we're really focused on the spine here. So how long can you get? Can you reach the crown of your head towards the top of your mat? Can you lengthen the space between your shoulder blades? Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, face forward, bring your right hand to your lower back. Left fingertips sweep all the way up. Good, the palm of your left hand faces away from you. We bring it to the outside of that right knee. Gentle twist. So you're using the pressure of that left hand just a little bit and kind of responding with the knee, with the thigh. Good, let's bring the hands down, frame the foot. Now we're going to try to put it all together. So stepping back to your downward facing dog. We find the hurdle in the middle of our mat and roll forward to that plank. So come up to your tippy toes, arc the spine, roll forward. Come down to your knees and find the chest between the hands. coming into your Cobra Pose. So tops of the feet are pressing down really hard, hands are at nipple height, elbows are pulling in, heart lifts. Good. Think about how you can get more length in your spine here. Nice. You're going to press it right back to downward facing dog. So peeling the body off the ground, finding tabletop, digging the toes, and lifting the seat. Good. Walk yourself up to meet your hands. Forward fold. Bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, look forward, half lift. And exhale, slide down. 2 more. Press into your hands, look forward. And let it go. Last one, look forward. And let it go all the way. Now your right foot steps back and we find that box shape. So bring your right knee down, lift your torso. Make sure your front knee is over your ankle. This time your left hand reaches forward, right hand reaches back. Inhale, find length. Exhale, reach forward through the left hand and bring it to the inside of the foot. Good. Forgot to mention this on the other side, but if your neck ever hurts, look down. Inhale, rise back up. And face forward. Bring your left hand now to your lower back. Right fingertips sweep up. And we exhale to twist. So back of your right hand comes to the outside of your left knee. Good. Last 2 breaths here. Grow really tall through the crown of your head. And then let's come all the way around, hands to frame the foot. And we're going to step to tabletop. Bring it down to child's pose. Last one. And let's slide our fingertips in. And we'll swing our legs out to find our seat again. So now this time, we're going to extend our legs out and lift up nice and tall. So your hands are coming alongside your hips. We're pressing into the hands to really lift the chest. And your knees might need to bend a little bit. That's fine. Flex your feet towards your face. Keep all of this length, this space in your spine. Bring your right knee towards your chest and cross it over the left. So depending on how much space you need here, your foot might be up above your left knee. All right, so it might be a little higher up. It might be further down. It might even be here. Right? You can keep it on the inside. Either way, let's drape the left arm across and bring the right fingertips behind us. So use that left arm to hug your chest towards that front knee. Flex your left foot. Good, now let's try the other side. So bring yourself back to center and gently unwind. Left knee comes in now, and whatever you need to do to keep space. So you can cross it over, and then your right elbow drapes across, left fingertips behind. Flex that right foot, press it away from your body. Nice, slowly twisting back to center, unwinding, and we'll bring the legs to cross. So finding again our comfortable seat, however you need to prop yourself up, but after all of that work, we should feel a little bit taller. Close your eyes once again, concluding our practice. Feel the new length and space in your spine. Draw your hands together at the center of the heart. Namaste.